What's up, guys? This is the Vinyl Casket, home to the latest tasty. Check me out on Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok, all one word, the Vinyl Casket, where you can subscribe, like, and comment. Hit the bell for much, much more. We're doing a casket review on, boom, Happy Gilmore 2. Basically here we have a very interesting concept of a fan favorite movie from a comedian that's been loved for years, right? Earlier this year, July 25th, 2025, we got the release of the Netflix original sequel to that movie, Happy Gilmore 2. And obviously this is a spoiler-full review. Well, I put the spoiler thing, and I don't do in-depth spoilers, so don't worry, I'm not going to get into it, but some things I say might be considered spoilers to people. I don't have a filter. I'm not going to hold back. I'm not going to think, hey, let me not say this because this might spoil something here. No, just be aware that you might get spoiled by just random stuff I say. This is a very interesting movie. It has a runtime of an hour and 54 minutes. Just misses the sweet spot. It is PG-13, which I don't really like, but because I feel like there's some jokes that get washed out or drowned down to hit that standard that couldn't. I don't know. And then there's some jokes that I'm like, how is this PG-13? Because this joke went too far. But it is what it is. It's an interesting rating. It is a Netflix original. Obviously, Adam Sandler has been doing a lot of work with Netflix. So obviously, I feel like at this point, he can just make all these sequels if he wanted to his original movies, because they're all linked to his own production company. Interesting. I think it was an okay movie. It just didn't hit the mark, and there's certain reasons why. Okay. Reason one is this is a decently normal size movie. It's nothing crazy. It's not long, whatever. I feel like the utilization of time here was bad. It was a really good movie until the last, 25 minutes, 30 minutes. When you get to that final arc where basically the whole movie is build up to this tournament. The tournament is basically at the end of the movie. It takes like 15-20 minutes and then it's over. It's anticlimactic. The placement of where this wasn't good. They didn't give enough time for the tournament to breathe. The concept of the tournament obviously is supposed to be stupid, but this was just so ridiculous after a very serious build up. Like, the movie had a lot of character development to the new characters. A lot of like pre-existing connections were laid down from existing characters to new stories to this and that, and like the reasoning why these golfers were able to hit so far, like that whole surgery thing, that was really interesting. Like the point of like the original villain getting out of prison and then having to team up with Happy, all that groundwork was really good and really interesting. It made a really interesting, good movie. And my problem is that they spent all the time to build that really good movie and to lead up to this tournament that was so rushed. The concept was so ridiculous, and it's supposed to be like that was the point where to make it ridiculous, but they pushed the boundary too far, where it was too ridiculous, too rushed. It kind of ruined all the setup and build and character development that they spent the whole movie doing. If you had moved that start of the tournament earlier on, right? Lessen some of the character development, maybe overlap some of the character development with the tournament happening, cutting in scenes and whatever, it would have allowed that tournament to breathe and be ridiculous, but stretched out. Being that ridiculous, like way too ridiculous, to past the point of being necessary. In that condensed space, everything was happening. You don't know what's going on. It's very like, ugh. It wasn't good. For an otherwise very good movie. And I feel like then it ends and like it's just forgot. Like, oh yeah, okay, boom, movie. Here's the conclusion. Let's do this, and this. And it could have been a really, really good sequel. And all the components are there. All the work is there. All the acting and storytelling and building is there. The tournament basically ruins that all because in my opinion, did the tournament wrong. They either could have lengthened it and gave it more time to breathe, or they could have just made it less ridiculous, and gave it like a tone that worked with the time allotted. Because what they did not. It was jam packed, full of stuff that happened really quickly. You didn't really get it. It's just like these people that they went against, only one of them had any development, right? So the villains that you have to now root against in the last 20 minutes of the movie, you know nothing about except one of them. But there's supposed to be a whole team going against a team of guys that you've kind of developed a little bit of storytelling, a little bit of character development around each of these guys. And I wouldn't say a crazy amount either. It wasn't a crazy amount of development on any of these guys together, but it was just enough to like piece this team together to see some of the gripes and the jokes and understand stuff, right? Where this random guys, random people, Becky Lynch randomly thrown in there. If you know, you know. My favorite part of this movie, though, besides that, like we'll get off the awful stuff. I thought the character development and the acting was great up until that point. Up until the tournament, I thought this movie was fantastic, incredible. I was having such a blast. MJF from AEW is in this movie as one of Adam Sandler's sons. I love that. Yeah, I thought that everything was well done until that point. And unfortunately, I have to give this a 3.6 out of 5. Lower on it could be even lower. But like that's what I'm going to go with right now. I had a fresher review on Instagram, a write-up when I watched this. So you could check that out. But this is an interesting take because everything was here. All the components that were laid out for this movie would have made you think, like the trailer, the build-up, everything. Watching this movie, you're thinking this is a great movie. But just for them to flop right at the end kind of is crazy to me. With that being said, guys, get in the comments. What do you think? This is Happy Gilmore 2 on Netflix. You can check it out. 3.6 out of 5 from me. With that being said, guys, this is the Vodcast. Home and Lamest Taste. You can check me out on Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok, all one word, where you can subscribe, like, and comment. Hit the bell for much, much more. And do me a massive favor, guys, and stay lame.